And I'm going to show you, do the exact thing that we just showed, and then show you how the test makers were trying to mess with you on this question. So we're given an inequality with an absolute. There's our absolute. Here is our inequality. And we're asked to pick which solution set over here identifies the correct solution set to this absolute value inequality. So we have x minus 5, absolute value of less than negative 1. So we know that there would be two answers to this. We break it apart. X minus 5 less than negative 1, that's our given. And then we have to swap both signs, the inequality sign and the value sign over here. So we end up with x minus 5. Swap that, becomes greater than 1. So we did both. We changed that and we changed that. So now let's solve this one. X minus 5 greater than 1. We have to add 5. X greater than 6. And then on this other side, we have to add 5 to clear that out. X, and we add 5 over here, less than 5 plus a negative 1 is 4. So there's our two values. We put x in the middle. X is less than 4, and x is greater than 6. Or you could also write it the other way. X greater than 6 and less than 4. Either way, you can see that answer choice J, this would be x, all x is less than 4. X is less than 4. X is less than 4. And this is all x is greater than 6. This says x greater than 6. And we have our open, meaning we don't include that point. It's everything to the left of 4 and everything to the right of 6. And that would be our answer, except it's not. And you probably already knew where this was going. And the reason it's not, well, first, if you did what I said, and that is to always test, even if you didn't see the problem, you would have found it. So any number, let's say 10, is to the right of 6. So if we plug 10 into our inequality, it should work if it's right. So it would be 10 minus 5 less than negative 1. 10 minus 5 is 5. 5 less than negative 1. Well, 5 is not less than negative 1, and so we have a problem. And the problem is you just have to evaluate this inequality at the very beginning. And if you'd have done that, then you could have answered this question really quickly. Otherwise, it could end up being a big time suck. And I think it's terrible that they did that to you at this point of the ball game, at this point in the test, but they did it. So let's take a look and just evaluate this statement. We have the absolute value of x minus 5 less than negative 1. Well, what does that mean? Some number over here is going to come out of this absolute value and it will be positive. It has to be. That's what these absolute value symbols mean. Whatever comes out of there will be positive. And they're telling us that this positive number has to be less than negative 1. Well, less than negative 1 on the number line, this is 0 and this is negative 1. Less than negative 1 is everything in this direction, which is negative, 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 negative. But you're not going to get any negative numbers out of this absolute value. So they're telling us that a positive number comes out of that absolute value is going to be less than a negative number. And that's not possible. So when you have an absolute value combined with the result being less than the negative, it can't work. So they tried to trick you, and that kind of stinks. But the answer is K. It's an empty set. There is no solution to this dumb little problem right here. Like I said, it looked rather innocuous and easy. And if it didn't have those absolute value signs with it, if they just told you x minus 5 less than -1, you could have just buzzed through that in 10 seconds and been done. But those little absolute value signs just changed everything. So they're really testing deeply your understanding of absolute value. And even if you started the question and realized that you had to break it into two things, two inequalities, change the sign, and get your answer, if you had then tested, you would have been clued in that there was an issue, and you'd have gone back and looked at it a little closer and figured it out, but that would have taken a lot of time, but you would have gotten the question right. Or if you saw this and evaluated the inequality first, which would be a difficult thing to do when you're on question number 58 of 60 and, running on fumes. But if you had, you could have answered this question very quickly and go, wait a minute, I can't get anything out of an inequality that will be less than 1. But that's what they did to you.